Today, I actually want to talk to you about the coronavirus and mental health. Mental health is a big topic. It has been in the news because we had Mental Health Awareness Month that passed. And it is a big topic. And now that we have this coronavirus scare that's in the news 24 hours, um, because everyone is interested. Everyone is interested in that topic. The way this disease is affecting people is that anyone can contract the coronavirus. We're all vulnerable to the coronavirus. No one has any immunity yet. And an extreme situation is no one knows how they will react when if they actually contract the disease, when they're exposed to it. Um, that may cause stress in a lot of people. So we're responding to it now by working from home, banning large congregation of people, and travel bans and all kinds of other bans, which is necessary. How do you process those things when you know that if you contract this disease, you have no way of knowing whether you're old, young, whether you have underlying conditions or not. You have no idea of how your body will react to this disease. It may cause, and it is causing, a lot of stressful reactions, and especially the constant 24-hour news um, is causing stress in a lot of people. I know that I have always been a calm personality type. I have been in extremely stressful situations, especially with my career. I am a grant writer. So the fact that you have to write multi-million dollar grants to hit a hard deadline and you have to meet your deadline year after year after year, I've battled a lot of extremely stressful situations fairly well, actually, up until recently. recently, well, I shouldn't say recently. This happened to me after my mother passed. My mother passed in 2014. And since my mother passed, I've been having this issue with time. I've been battling time. Time stresses me out, which is weird because I'm a grant writer and grant applications are very time sensitive. But since my mother died in 2014, time and I have been struggling. It always seems like there's never enough time in the day anymore, because what I realize is when she passed, that I time was brought into perspective for me, that there is not an abundance amount of time. The way that I process time when she passed, the way that my mind decided to process time, is that time and I are at odds with each other. So I always thought that way, but now it really brought it home to me that I have to make sure that I accomplish all that I possibly can with the time that I'm given, and to process time in a way that makes it okay for me to realize everyone has 24 hours in the day. Some people do great things with it, superhuman things with their time, and other people don't do anything at all with their time. So it's just a matter of what will I do with my time. So that gave me a more rational way to process time. That doesn't mean that I'm successful every day with the process of time. Sometimes I do go home thinking, I didn't do enough. I could have done way, way more than I did. So it doesn't help me sometimes to process it that way. But, even that within itself is a way for me to process it, to say, well, yes, maybe you think you didn't do enough that day, but you have another 24 hours tomorrow. So, you know what, Sarita, take it easy on yourself. You have another 24 hours. Um, so, with the process of this time and the way that I've been battling time since my mother passed, and how I've been at odds with time, I just realized that I gotta go after it. All my dreams, all the desires that it has been placed in my heart and in my mind, I make sure that I highlight what those things are, and I place steps in front of myself that I can accomplish those desires. So I don't ever say no to myself. As a matter of fact, that is a saying of mine, a motto of mine, that I never say no to myself. I don't ever say no to myself. I don't ever say no to anyone that's in my life. I don't ever say no to them, to their hopes and their dreams. Because you know what? I don't have to say no to them. Their life outside, the world outside, will say no to them already. When they get out there and they have to achieve their hopes and their dreams, just life will already say no to them. So, my role in my own life, my role in other people's life that I encounter is to say, go do it. Give it everything you've got, and you're going to need it. You're going to need everything that you've got to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. You're definitely going to need everything that you've got. So, the way that I've decided to process time is to go after everything that is within my power that I possibly can, and to not mentally beat myself up if I fall short of whatever it is that I am pursuing. So, what I do is take the power, use my power. What are my resources? What are my skill sets? What can I leverage that I have at my disposal to go after the things that I would like to pursue? I don't leave anything on the table because I don't want that stress of knowing that I could have done something and I didn't do it. I don't want the stress of knowing that I could have been more productive and I wasn't. So I take the power and try to mentally calm myself to say, you did everything you possibly could. What else could you have done? And even if you didn't do all that you could do, just the mental note that, okay, well, maybe you could have done more. Tomorrow exists, potentially. No one knows the future, so potentially tomorrow exists, and then you can tackle it again and make some steps, make a list of things that you can do tomorrow, or some things to focus on tomorrow that you probably didn't focus on enough today. So those things have been helping. The list is to prioritize certain things on the list. I read this book from Stephen R. Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I tell you, that is a great book. And one of the habits that he says was to keep first things first, meaning not to pursue every single shiny new object, not realizing that it's not your first thing. And I stay to that principle even in this business where all we do is grant writing. We keep the first thing first. We don't do other things that are not in our specialty, that we are not the strongest at, just because maybe there's some additional revenue over there. We don't get distracted by every shiny object. We stay the course of staying strictly with grant writing. We could do grant management, but we don't do that because our specialty, our niche, our focus area is grant writing, not grant management. So I chose to implement that strategy into this business where I keep the first things first. And then that actually helps with stress management as well because uh, since time is an issue, I don't use my time for second, third, and fourth things when they're not first. So that technique, that tool has helped me tremendously. Is just to make sure that I go after the things that I want with gusto so that I never have to second guess or doubt myself to say, you could have done more. Well, I did all that I possibly could. So I have to stay comforted in the fact that I did all that I possibly could. And then if I fall short of doing the things that I possibly can do, I prioritize myself to keep first things first for the opportunity of a next day, if another day is given to me, so maybe those tools will work for you as well. Definitely stay away from the 24-hour news with this coronavirus. That cannot help. Just go in there to get the highlights and get out of that news wheel. What do you call it? The mouse wheel. You just around and around and around, and it's the same news. Get in there, get the highlights, get out, keep your first things first. Realize that everyone is at the mercy of time, and use your time to the best of your abilities with the resources you have. Leverage the resources you have to achieve even more than you would achieve by yourself. And that should be enough. If you're beating yourself up for doing any more, that's not realistic. So go after your hopes and dreams with all that you have, with the time, the reasonable time that you have, and help yourself to manage stress a little bit more, and give your mental health more stability, more healthy things to do. So stay strong, stay safe in this coronavirus environment that we're all now living in, and let's be of help to each other, so that we can all survive this together. So I hope you're having a great day.